Welcome to the Economist in Your Ear podcast. Have you ever wondered about the hidden logistical puzzles behind major global events and how seemingly simple engineering can unlock entirely new strategic possibilities? Things that shift our understanding of global power. Today, we're going to explore a truly fascinating development that The Economist recently brought to light, China's new barge bridges. But we're not just re-reporting here. We're taking those initial insights and layering on some fresh intelligence and deeper analysis. We want to help us all understand what these vessels truly signify for the bigger picture and maybe even challenge some initial assumptions.
Right, this exploration is really designed to help us connect the dots, moving past the headlines to grasp the real implications of these engineering advancements. What do they mean for future capabilities, particularly in, well, logistical power projection? It's about moving beyond the what to the so what, really.
Okay, so let's unpack this story as it first emerged. The Economist highlighted these unusual vessels, describing them quite aptly as both a barge and a bridge. Their core features are really quite ingenious, aren't they? They have these extendable jack-up legs.
Right, for stability in shallow coastal waters.
Exactly. And then a substantial 100-meter bridge that can extend directly from the vessel's bow right onto a beach. They were initially spotted, I think, under construction in Guangzhou last summer, which immediately piqued a lot of interest.
Among analysts and observers, yeah.
And the article pinpointed a significant logistical problem these barges were clearly designed to solve. How do you get non-amphibious vehicles, think heavy trucks, tanks, other wheeled or tracked equipment, straight off these big civilian roll-off ferries, the ro-ros,
Right.
and onto a beach without needing a traditional established port? This logistical challenge, it's always been a bottleneck, hasn't it, for any large-scale movement across water?
Absolutely. Especially for nations without a massive fleet of dedicated amphibious assault ships.
So The Economist accurately described this as an missing link in potential cross-strait operations.
And it's precisely that fundamental logistical hurdle that makes this innovation so, well, compelling. Military planners have grappled with moving heavy equipment ashore efficiently for decades, especially where ports are unavailable or destroyed or just too dangerous. These barges, they represent a targeted solution to that specific problem. It's not a new problem, but it's seen renewed focus lately.
And that article drew a really interesting historical parallel, the Mulberry Harbors from Normandy in 44.
Ah, yes, the artificial ports. Ingenious for their time.
Absolutely. Assembled quickly to offload just vast amounts of material. But these new Chinese barges are described as even more versatile. They can connect together, nose to stern.
Right, forming these long causeways.
Exactly, which allows even larger ro-ro vessels to offload further offshore. It really expands their utility.
Yeah, it's not just a single ship-to-shore bridge then. It's a whole pier system, potentially.
And the initial estimates from the Economist article were, frankly, quite striking. They suggested connected barges could allow, 4 ro-ro ferries to dock simultaneously?
Yeah, that's a massive amount of throughput.
Potentially disembarking around 1,200 vehicles and 6,000 people. For context, that's roughly an entire brigade, thousands of troops, all their gear.
Huge numbers.
But the article also prudently recognized these vessels were likely too large, too vulnerable maybe to mines, artillery, for the first stage of an invasion.
That distinction is absolutely key. This isn't your D-Day landing craft breaking down the door. It's a sustainment tool. It's about solving the problem of how to efficiently funnel the immense volume of follow-on forces supplies.
Once a foothold is already there.
Precisely. Once an initial foothold has been gained and somewhat secured. The problem of getting that first wave ashore in a contested environment, that remains entirely separate and far more complex.
It really is remarkable how quickly a static report can evolve with new intel. So with that initial picture, what new information has come out since the Economist article went to press back in late March 2025? What gives us a more detailed picture of these Shuiqiao-class barges? Which means water bridge, right?
That's right, water bridge. And yeah, a lot has happened, significantly deepening our understanding. First, numbers and scale. Satellite imagery released in May, it provided concrete evidence of serial production.
Okay, so not just prototypes.
Not at all. It showed at least 7 completed barges at Guangzhou shipyard. And you could see keel sections for 3 more on adjacent ways. This isn't a limited run. It signals strategic intent, a commitment to scaling this capability.
Yeah.
And that genuinely changes our understanding of their potential deployment timeline.
That's a big shift from speculation to confirmed production, definitely. And beyond static images, we've actually seen them in action, haven't we, in trials?
We have. In June, video footage surfaced from an exercise near Zhanjiang. It captured 3 of these barges locked nose to stern, forming a 300-meter pier extending from shore. It demonstrated the modular causeway concept working in light surf, proved the design works in practice.
Right. The connectivity is functional. It validates the engineering.
Exactly.
So with these confirmed numbers, the trials, analysts must be crunching figures. What are the new throughput estimates? How many vehicles?
They're putting hard numbers on it now, and they're quite substantial. New estimates from sources like CMSI analysts calculate a 3-barge set can disembark approximately 300 vehicles per hour from commercial ferries.
300 an hour. Wow.
Yeah, that's roughly a mechanized battalion, a significant combat force, offloaded in just 1 hour. It gives a much clearer quantitative sense of their practical utility.
And we're already seeing technical refinements on later builds. That sounds like a very rapid development cycle.
It really is.
Yeah.
Naval News, among others, reported later hulls have even longer, 120-meter folding bridges, increases their reach. They also feature 8 seabed spuds. Think of them like big legs anchoring the barge securely.
For better stability.
Exactly. And an aft ramp specifically compatible with civilian side ramps. It showcases this really rapid design improvement cycle, which is, well, characteristic of China's shipbuilding sector. They iterate incredibly fast. Lessons learned get incorporated almost immediately.
It speaks to a very agile industrial base.
Very much so.
So if we connect all these individual pieces, the numbers, the trials, the rapid iteration, we really start to see China's industrial capacity at play here, don't we? It's one thing to design it, another to build it at scale.
Precisely. There was a CSIS study, for instance, found that one Chinese state-owned yard alone produced more commercial tonnage in 2024 than the entire United States has built since 1945.
Since 1945, that's staggering.
It is. And that sheer scale suggests Beijing could indeed scale this Shuikyu fleet very quickly if ordered. It shifts our understanding from just a potential capability to a plausible, rapid expansion scenario.
Yeah.
That's critical when assessing their long-term strategic capabilities. Industrial might translates directly into military capacity.
Especially in logistics. Okay. So what does this all mean for us as observers? How does this capability fit into the larger strategic puzzle? What does it tell us about China's engineering prowess, their broader ambitions?
Well, first, it's crucial to understand that while impressive, these Shuikyu barges are a logistical, not a tactical breakthrough.
Okay, explain that distinction.
What I mean is they solve that missing link for non-amphibious vehicles after a beachhead already exists. It's like having a faster delivery truck, but you still need to clear the road, secure the warehouse first, you know.
Right.
In fact, it mirrors America's own JLOT's joint logistics over the shore.
Yeah.
Those modular causeways. They're used for things like disaster relief, sustainment operations.
So this kind of engineering isn't totally out of the blue. It's sort of orthodox military logistics.
In principle, yes. It's about solving a known problem, not inventing some entirely new type of warfare.
So if America has something similar, what makes China's approach here particularly noteworthy? Is it just the scale or?
Well, what is truly remarkable are the engineering strengths on display and the speed of their development cycle. Chinese Yard's integrated complex features the jack-up legs, the extendable bridges, the row-row compatibility into a single hull within just 3 years of the first patent filing.
3 years? Wow, that's incredibly brisk.
Even by civilian shipbuilding standards. It underlines their ability to translate complex designs into tangible assets at remarkable speed. That rapid iteration and integration, that's a core strength.
That's a crucial point, but even with that impressive engineering, it's still only one piece of a very long, complex puzzle, isn't it?
Absolutely. Even a dozen of these barges, or more, they can't overcome the fundamental challenges of gaining that initial lodgment, especially considering Taiwan's narrow beaches, strong currents, layered defenses.
Right.
These vessels rely entirely on a secure perimeter, mine-cleared lanes, air and sea control. Variables totally outside their engineering brief. They solve the unloading problem, sure, but not the contested entry problem or providing air cover.
They're an enabler, but only after the really hard part is done.
Exactly. They are formidable tools, but their utility is contingent on securing those preconditions first. It's a logistical solution to a logistical problem, not a tactical solution to a tactical problem.
Got it. And finally, there's the point about dual-use optics. How is China framing these?
Yes. Chinese state media has framed the design as an ocean engineering innovation, capable of post-typhoon relief, island supply runs, offshore construction, that sort of thing.
Emphasizing peaceful utility.
Precisely. It aligns with Beijing's wider narrative of civilian military integration, or military-civil fusion, where civilian assets can seamlessly transition to support military objectives. Now, while those claims always need scrutiny, it does complicate efforts to label the ships as purely offensive.
It's classic strategic communication, really, blurring the lines.
Mm-hmm.
But while that framing is clearly strategic, couldn't you argue that any significant logistical boost, even with civilian uses, inherently helps military readiness?
Oh, absolutely. That's a very fair point. From a strategic perspective, increased capacity, increased versatility. Regardless of the stated intent, it undeniably enhances a nation's ability to act militarily. The argument isn't that they aren't useful militarily, but that the messaging is designed to present them in a less overtly aggressive light. Maybe for international consumption, maybe plausible deniability. It's part of a broader strategy.
Okay, we've built a much richer picture now, definitely beyond those initial headlines. With all this new context, let's maybe revisit some of The Economist's original assertions, see how they hold up. For instance, the headline, "Startling new kit shortens invasion timelines." How accurate does that feel now?
Well, it requires that nuanced reading we talked about. The barges undeniably accelerate follow-up resupply, the sustainment phase. So in that sense, they could shorten the overall duration of a prolonged campaign by allowing faster buildup.
Okay, faster buildup, but not necessarily day one.
Exactly. They don't necessarily shorten D-Day itself or that critical high-risk initial assault. Without secure beaches or ports, faster unloading is, well, academic. You can't unload if you can't get there safely. So it's about the pace of the follow-up, not the initiation of the conflict.
Right, and The Economist also stated, 7 barges are not yet enough, but dozens could appear in months. Is that timeline for mass production realistic, even with China's shipbuilding might?
While it's true they build ships incredibly fast, and that industrial capacity is undeniable, mass production of such specialized vessels has other hurdles beyond just bending steel. You've got crew training for a totally new class of vessel, final assembly bottlenecks for complex systems, and maybe most crucially, coordination with the civilian ro-ro fleets needed for the operation.
Integrating it all together.
Exactly. These are complex tasks measured in years, not weeks or even a few months. Which does raise the question, what are the true practical timelines for integrating these assets, the crews, the civilian ships, into a coherent operational force? It's not just building the hulls, it's making the whole system work.
That makes sense. And finally, The Economist's analogy to the Mulberry Harbors, it implied strategic surprise, right? A game changer nobody saw coming, is that fair?
That's an interesting point on the framing. In reality, allies have actually long anticipated Beijing would seek some kind of Mulberry-like solution. The problem of offloading heavy, non-amphibious gear without a port. It's a known one. Analysts have discussed the need for floating causeways for years.
So their appearance wasn't a total shock.
Not a total shock, no. The appearance of Shuqiao confirms, rather than upends, existing strategic assessments. It shows them addressing a known problem with an elegant engineering solution. It confirms their methodical approach. It wasn't necessarily unforeseen, more like confirmation of an expected development path.
Okay, so wrapping this up, for you, someone tracking these developments, what are the most important takeaways? What should our listener really focus on going forward?
I'd probably highlight 3 things. First, these barges are a significant capability leap, yes, but they are not a game changer, at least not yet. They close a critical logistics gap, showcase China's engineering agility, but they don't magically negate Taiwan's geography or allied deterrence. They're an enabler for a specific phase, not a silver bullet.
Okay, capability leap, not game changer. What's second?
Second, shipyard capacity remains Beijing's quiet but truly profound advantage. The potential for rapid serial production is a key differentiator. Few other navies could contemplate such projects at this scale and speed. That industrial output fundamentally alters timelines. It lets them turn concepts into massed reality incredibly fast.
That industrial engine is key. And third,
the focus really needs to shift to integration milestones. The most telling signs of their real amphibious ambitions won't just be barge numbers. It'll be large-scale exercises pairing these barges with civilian ferries, with heavy armor, and evidence of protective layers, countermine, air defense around these causeways during exercises. Those steps will reveal how quickly the many moving parts are actually maturing. Can they handle the operational challenges? That's the real test.
that's a great point. It reminds us the Shuqiao fleet, impressive and scalable as it is, remains an enabling technology. It's contingent on so many other elements before it could underpin a full-scale cross-strait operation. It's one piece, albeit an important one, of a much larger, more intricate puzzle.
Absolutely. The ability to build is one thing. the ability to integrate, protect, and effectively employ these systems in a highly challenging environment. That's quite another.
Well, we've certainly gone from those initial headlines to a much more nuanced, critical understanding of China's barge bridges. It's a complex picture technology, logistics, strategy, and how new information constantly reshapes our view.
And it really does beg the question, doesn't it? What does this whole episode reveal about broader trends in military innovation today? Where civilian tech and infrastructure get increasingly intertwined with defense capabilities. And what does it mean for how we analyze global power, looking beyond just numbers to that intricate web of integration, doctrine, and, crucially, industrial capacity?
Thank you for joining us on this exploration. We hope this is giving you a fresh perspective and perhaps something new to ponder as you watch similar global developments unfold.